When I learned I'd be giving a speech with this honor, I asked MC, what should I talk about? She said, about 6 minutes. So that's all you're getting tonight, and nobody can mute me, which is unbelievable. Thank you, MCs. Thank you, my son, Willie, who shares this honor with you. Thanks back home, my daughter, Tessa, her husband, Charlie, and their new baby, Daisy, are watching back in Northern California. I want to thank them, too. Thank the rest of my family who made the trip, my fiancée, Roxana, Willie's wife, Alicia, and my crew, Barry McCoy and Bill Thompson and their families, Tanya and Melody and Jude. And thanks to management, the most important mentor of my career, sports journalism legend John Sherva. Thank you, John. Thank you, Dave Gordon and the entire staff at NSMA for the great wonderful weekend. Thank you to everyone who's not here, who's taken me to a place far beyond my modest dreams. It started with Gene Wojciechowski, who befriended me when I was covering preps in the Everglades. Thanks to Fred Turner, Fort Lauderdale sports editor, Blaine Johnson, Seattle sports editor, and all the LA Times sports editors, Bill Dwyer, Mike James, Randy Harvey, Rick Jaffe, Dave Morgan, Mike Heiserman, Chris Stone, and Ileana Limon Romero. So many people have been, I've been lifted here by so many people. I'm so fortunate. And standing here in front of some of the country's best sports writers and sportscasters, I'm so overwhelmed at the thought of Marriott points. There's a lot of Marriott points in this room. I am just so heartened by Southwest Airlines A-listers. There's a lot of you there. There's a lot of companion passes in here. And I am awed. I am genuinely awed at the fact that somebody in this room, maybe more than one person, is going to claim this free meal on their expense report and say it's dinner with two sources. Right? Am I right? Somebody do that? But this speech is not about numbers, it's about words. Even though some know me from my debates with my wonderful second family on Around the Horn, I love all those people. My life has been a written word. That's who I am, that's all I do. For ink-stained sports hacks like me, it's a miracle, these words. You see something on the field or court, you write what you saw, and almost instantly, if you're lucky, those words will make people laugh and cry or angry or sad. For a minute or two, they're feeling something. And it's all because of those words, and that's a miracle. We all live this miracle, don't we? Growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, I stuttered. I could best communicate through the written word, and I thought I could best use these words to share the universal language of sports. So in the 8th grade, I would go to Little League baseball games, write game stories in a little blue binder, come home and watch my mother type them up on a rickety old typewriter. Then we'd drive the pages across town in the middle of the night and drop them off in the mail slot of the community newspaper. 4 days later, my stories would appear in print and people would comment. They'd say they laughed or cried or they were moved. In some small way, I'd impacted their lives. For the first time, they saw me. I dedicated my most recent book to my mother, and I was headed home to surprise her with a copy when she suddenly passed away. She never saw it, but how she loved the words. And this speech is dedicated to her and my late father. Grover and Mary, I know you're up there. Thank you. In college, my words brought me to another tough time. For my final 3 years, I attended Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, a commuter school outside of St. Louis. We'd moved to Illinois, and my parents didn't have any money. I lived in a church basement next to an oil refinery. At the time, the school had no arena, no football team, and a basketball team that played in the high school gym. So I didn't write about the games. I wrote about the people. The school's competitive pool player doing his homework in smoky taverns. The school's long-distance runner training in a cow pasture. And today when people ask me why I write so many offbeat stories like this, it's because I was raised like this. I couldn't write stars, so I had to write the humans. Being an unconventional writer from a school not known for sports, I had little chance in the national job market. And sure enough, my junior year, I applied for 50 internships, and I got one response, Muskegon, Michigan. In my senior year, I applied for 50 more internships. I got 0 responses. I was set to go to work at my dad's printing plant. As a writer, I was done. And then one day in February, I was walking through the snow to my off-campus apartment when my 2 roommates appeared on the balcony of the apartment in their boxer shorts, smoke pouring out the sliding glass door. Yeah, they were drug dealers. So they saw me, and they're shouting, "Bill, Bill, somebody called. I'm like, "Who called?" It's like, I don't know who called. I run upstairs, run through the kitchen, and there on the back of a Cocoa Puffs box is written the words St. Petersburg Times. Yeah, somebody called. I called them back right away. They wanted to offer me an internship, and the words were once again my miracle. Thus began a career that really never had a chance except for the words. I had no connections. I had no references. I had no safety net. I just had the words. And those words have blessed me for more than 40 years. From my days covering alligator wrestling for a bureau handout in the Everglades, to covering the Seattle Mariners when they stunk, to covering the San Diego Padres when they stunk, to covering the Dodgers when they stunk. I was only given a column at the LA Times after I spent a week in East LA living with a resilient gang-infested football team. My most read column during the Lakers' great playoff run of the early 2000s was a mid-playoff piece about the courage of a Compton girls softball team that had gone winless in 3 seasons while being outscored 40-0 every game. Those are the human stories that I write, that I love, and that's been my connection all these years. Even the greatest of Lakers understood the importance of words. I used to walk with Kobe Bryant to his car after games. It was just us two. He usually had no bodyguard, no business associates, no friends. He ran solo all day. It was just him and me. And we walk and we talk. I never wrote about any of it. But he was fluent in 3 languages, Kobe, and he valued words. And when he talked about my work, he never asked about my tweets, never asked about my video hits, never asked about my hot takes on Around the Horn. He always wanted to talk about what I had written, how I had written it, why I had written it. So one day, when I asked him, I said, Kobe, do you want help writing your book? He looked at me with a smile and said, no way, are you kidding me? You're not taking my words. Those are going to be my words. So yeah, words were so powerful then. For me, it was always words. And those words were rarely about the stars. They were mostly about the shadows. And I urge all of you, don't be blinded by the brightest of lights. The real magic can be found in those shadows. In all this time in Los Angeles, I've written not one feature column on LeBron, but I've written about the bugler at Santa Anita racetrack who suddenly suffered from Bell's palsy and could no longer blow his own horn. Those were people like us. That's who I write about. That's who I encourage all of you young journalists, look in the shadows. That's where the magic is. For more than a quarter century, I've columnized on amazing things at Dodger Stadium, but no story has gotten the enormous feedback like the one I wrote about a little field down the road from Dodger Stadium. I drove past it one day and started asking questions. There were holes in the outfield, cracks in the infield, and a crooked pitching mound, no working bathroom, no water fountain, no scoreboard. I ran across a maintenance man and said, this field is a shame. He said, the real shame is that this is where Jackie Robinson played his high school baseball. Suffice to say, the field at John Muir High has been totally rehabilitated by the Dodgers and is a shining example of the power of those words. To my fellow ink-stained hacks, I say, when all the shouting is done, when all the hot takes have been fried, never forget what wonderfully, hopefully, beautifully will stay with you forever, stay with us forever. It's the words. No matter where you come from, no matter if you're rich or poor, no matter your culture or creed, you will always have the words, and with them, even a stuttering kid stumbling through life could fly. Write the miracle, be the miracle. Thank you.